1045 The Team, your home for New York sports. Our man Jordan Ranaan, he covers the Giants for the mothership ESPN. Jordan, ESPN's Power Index has the Eagles favored to win this game. Why?
Yeah, I didn't make the Power Index. No, they haven't been a fan of the Giants very much. I mean, there's a lot of statistics that go into that. So when you look at the Giants, you look at their team. I mean, their offense hasn't been good. Their defense on yards allowed hasn't been great. So it doesn't always stack up to be maybe as good as they are as a team or as records. So that's my only explanation. So I can't really explain it. Vegas does not agree with that, by the way. I mean, the Giants are 2.5, 3-point favorites in this game. So Vegas and the public think differently.
Does it have anything to do with the availability of Janoris Jenkins and Jonathan Casillas? What is their status for tonight's game?
Casillas is going to play. I don't think that was ever really a doubt. I think he was more preventative than anything else. Jenkins, I have a hard time seeing him getting back and getting on the field and then rushing him back onto the field. As of last time we were at the facility on late Tuesday, he hadn't done any running or jogging up until that point. So he was going, and they were going home at that point. Unless he did running, the first jogging or running of any sort that he did was maybe yesterday. So it's hard for me to believe that they're going to throw him back. Hey, let's get back out there. It's just I don't know if the risk and the reward kind of match up in that regard to get him out there for this game. And look, the Giants are 99% to make the playoffs right now. So it's not like this game is not a huge game for the Giants. They could, theoretically lose out and almost certainly still make the playoffs. They would need like 15 things to go against them and to lose out in order not to make the playoffs. So they have to keep that in mind of what's important here and what's not important.
Jordan Ranaan joining us, covers the Giants for ESPN right here on 1045 The Team. So, but Jordan, isn't there you covered the Eagles back in the day. You covered the Giants for years now. Isn't this the team that they want to beat though? Like that they almost would go all out, even though they don't necessarily have to beat the Eagles.
It's interesting because with Ben McAdoo, everything is new. I'm not really sure what his approach is to this. Now he takes everything in a very workmanlike manner. I asked him this week if he considered it an accomplishment to make the playoffs, and he basically said no right now. Like he's just worried about this game, and he doesn't even look at it that way. So that just goes to show you the attitude that the Giants and Ben McAdoo, as you hear the carolers singing on the street here in Philadelphia.
The city of brotherly love.
Show you the attitude that he's taking, and that the team is kind of following along and taking with them. So it's really all business for them. So, yeah, I do think that they look at this as another game, a division game. They want to win. They want to secure their own playoff spot. They look at it as a big game. But
it's better we're hearing carolers rather than you getting snowballs thrown at you like Santa Claus, Jordan. So look at the positives and walk you through the streets of Philly.
You say that around here, and they get all mad. They get all insulted and pissy about that whole snowball and Santa Claus story. Oh, you always go back. That's like the crutch they view it as. Everyone uses, you're going to the Santa Claus thing again. They always say that about us. It's actually a funny dynamic when you're here. You mentioned the snowball thing. They get super, super insulted.
But it's a pretty good thing to go back to. I mean, it's like, you slapped your mother once. You threw snowballs at Santa Claus.
Yeah. The story has been embellished over the years, though. Actually, I think there's a Outside the Lines thing today on it, explaining like the real story of how it all went down.
Let's focus now on Odell Beckham.
Watch it, ESPN.
Yeah, I will. We will, absolutely.
Company man over here.
That's right, Jordan doing the right things. One guy always making attention is Odell Beckham Jr. There was the tweet talking about, if it was me and I jumped in the Salvation Army, I would have got fined. Did he just get ahead of that story before guys like you asked him what he would have done if he was in that situation? Or what is the deal with Odell Beckham Jr.? Why is he bringing this attention on himself?
Yeah, obviously he likes it. I mean, there's a lot of things he does that aren't necessary unless you want to bring the attention to yourself or you just can't help yourself. And, he thinks that the league picks on him. He thinks that everybody picks on him. That's his attitude. And you saw it twice now this week. He kind of was proven right a little bit because he got fined for wearing these Craig Sager cleats the other day. And, $18,000 for wearing cleats that were honoring Craig Sager. So, Odell he thinks that everyone's kind of picking on him. He's thought that kind of all year, going all the way back to the sideline antics. Why is everybody, all over me about this? Why are they picking on me? So this is sort of a common theme, and he just can't help himself, I think.
Jordan Ranaan with us right now, 104.5 The Team. Jordan, you got a great article at ESPN.com about the other wide receiver, Victor Cruz, and the basically like homecoming, the full circle of this, the fact that he's going to be playing in Philadelphia tonight.
Yeah, I remember. It was a little over 2 years ago. He went up for a pass in the corner of the end zone, and his knee just exploded. And it really reshaped his career from where it was going at that point. You could say what you want about Victor Cruz, but he's just, and it's great that he's back, and it's a huge accomplishment. He's not the same player, though, that he once was. And I don't think it was even fair to expect him to be the same player because he missed 2 full years almost of NFL football. And it's a pretty tough thing to come back after missing 2 years in the NFL. Very few guys actually do it. So he's coming back. He said he's going to go to the spot where his knee kind of gave out on him and sort of revisit that, exercise the demons before the game, maybe the first thing he does when he gets on the field, and then hopefully go out and have a big game. And you know how it means something to him? Because Odell Beckham, unsolicited, came out and was like, this is his biggest game of the season. And Odell Beckham and Victor Cruz are very tight. So obviously this game means something special to Victor Cruz to come back here and hopefully clinch the playoffs on top of it in the spot where his career kind of changed 2 years ago.
As great as a moment that should be tonight, Victor Cruz is sort of in the same boat as guys like Ryan Nassib and Shane Vereen. Those two went to the IR this season, but people will wonder their futures for the New York Giants. Do we see all three of these guys coming back next season, or is it going to be a situation where it's going to be a restructured deal to get at least one of these guys back?
Yeah, if Victor Cruz is going to come back, it's going to be a restructured deal like he did this year. That was always the plan. I mean, he's getting paid next year, and it's the same going into this year as a superstar receiver. So basically the only way he was ever going to come back under his contract of what it is now would have been either have, 1,500 yards and 10 touchdowns. He would be able to come back under that same deal. That was pretty much the only way he was going to come back without a restructured deal. So we'll see. I mean, it's a big decision. And Ryan Nassib, who knows? I mean, he was the guy hoping that he could play his way into getting a chance to be a starter somewhere, and he was horrible in the preseason and now has an elbow injury and needed surgery on his elbow. So Ryan Nassib's future is completely up in the air. I don't know if he's ever going to get that shot now to play as a starting quarterback in the league. And who knows if he even comes back as a reserve of the Giants.
Jordan, who wins tonight?
I have the Giants 20-12, another, typical Giant, ugly type victory. Their offense stumbles for large portions of the game. They make enough plays, and their defense keeps the opponent out of the end zone because they're awesome in the red zone pretty much. That is the number one strength of this team right now, is that they just don't let teams score touchdowns. And that is a big thing. You keep, obviously, the point of the game is to score points. If you can keep teams from scoring touchdowns, that was the difference last week against the Lions, is the Giants were 2 for 2 in the red zone, 2 touchdowns, and the Lions were 0 for 3 with 2 turnovers.
Right.
So, I mean, that was the game, and Leon Hall made the biggest play of the game probably when he forced that fumble of Zach Zenner when they were seemingly going into the end zone, the Lions, to take the lead in the second quarter, and it totally changed the game.
Jordan Ranaan covers the Giants for the mothership, and we appreciate your time, my friend. And now that they're a 99% chance of getting the playoffs, we're going to be hitting you up when they get there.
Yeah, well, we're getting there. You guys both got the Giants today, or what?
Yeah, I'm taking the Giants. Yeah. I don't think Carson Wentz is quite ready to win this kind of game.
fair enough. I think that's a fair. So the Eagles are coming off a game where they actually played better than they had in a long time. But yeah, I agree with you. It's going to be a tough spot on a few days rest for them to score points offensively.
Indeed, man. Jordan, enjoy your time back in Philly, and we look forward to seeing you as hopefully the Giants make a deep playoff run.
Sounds good, man. I'll speak to you then.